All right, so today's lesson on measurement, we're looking at metric conversion, so linear area and volume, and we'll also look at volume, capacity, and mass. So we just finished watching this video, the math antics intro to the metric system. So what we're going to do next is we're going to look at some examples of converting linear measurements. So recall from the video, linear measurement, it's a one-dimensional measurement. So you're just measuring the length of an object. It could be a certain distance. It could be the measurement around a particular figure. So here in this chart, which is provided in your modules, you can see some of those conversions. And this here is just an example of a line that is measured 7.2 centimeters. So what we're going to focus on today is conversions. So we're going to look at converting each of the following linear measurements to the units indicated. So for our first example, we have 18 kilometers, and we need to convert it to millimeters. All right, so converting 18 kilometers to millimeters, we have to move our decimal place 6 to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our decimal place is right here currently. All right, so we're just going to move that 6 to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's where the decimal place will be. Then you just fill these in with zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so that's what it looks like, 18 million millimeters. Okay, let's try the next one. So we have 5 decimeters, and we need to convert it to decameters. All right, so if we look here, decimeters is here. We need to move to decameters, so 1, 2 to the left. So if I put my 5 right here, the decimal place is right here. Currently, I need to move 2 to the left. So 1, 2, I put my decimal place here. The answer is 0.05. All right, 24 meters to centimeters is our next example. So if we go to meters here, and we're moving to centimeters, so 1, 2, 2 to the right. So we have 24. Our decimal place is right here currently. We're moving that decimal place 2 to the right. So 1, 2, our new decimal place will be here. We fill that in with zeros. It's 2,400 centimeters or 2,400 centimeters. Okay, so next we have 86 meters, and we need to change it to decimeters. So meters is here, decimeters is here. So we're just moving 1 to the right. So 86, the decimal point is currently right there. So we're moving 1 to the right, so we're just moving 1 to the right like this, and that becomes 860 decimeters. 3 centimeters, which is here, we're moving to decameters. So 1, 2, 3 to the left. So there's my 3. There's my current decimal point. I'm going to move 3 to the left. So 1, 2, 3. New decimal point is right there. We'll fill that in with zeros. So our answer is 0.003 decameters. The last one is 327 millimeters, and we need to change it to meters. So here's my millimeters, and I'm going to move 1, 2, 3 to the left. So here's 327. My current decimal point is right here. I'm going to move that 3 to the left. So 1, 2, 3. My new decimal point is right there. So therefore, 327 millimeters is equal to 0.327 meters. Next, we're looking at area. Area is a two-dimensional measurement. It's looking at the surface inside a closed figure. So for example, here, the area is 20 centimeters squared. So this side is 4 centimeters. And then this side is 5 centimeters. And then 4 times 5 gives me that 20 centimeters squared. Okay, so we can see the relationships here between the different measurements, between the different units there. Kilometer, hectare, then we have just air instead of decameter. and then meters squared, decimeters squared, centimeters squared, millimeters squared. Okay, just keep that in mind there. So let's take a look at these examples here. So we have 9 meters squared, and we need to change it to 2 hectares, which is basically hectometers squared. Okay, so if we're moving from meters, which is here, to hectometers or hectares, so 1, 2. All right, but because it's area, you would have to double it. So we were actually going to move it four places. All right, so we're moving our 9. Our current decimal point is here. So like I said, from meters to hectares, it's 1, 2 to the left, but we're going to double that because this is area. So we're going to move it 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. New decimal point goes right there, and we'll fill these in with zeros. Okay, so it is equal to 0.0009. All right, so for our next example, we have 6 meters squared, and we're converting it to decimeters squared. All right, so if it was a linear measurement, we would just move it 1 to the right? But because it's area, we have to double that. So 1 times 2, which is 2. So 2 places to the right. So 6 is here. That's where the current decimal point is. And we're going to move it 2 to the right. So that gives me 600 decimeters squared. All right, for 5 meters squared to centimeters squared. So we're going from meters to centimeters, which is 2 places to the right, but we're going to double that. So it's going to be 2 times 2, which is 4 places to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Fill that in. We get 50,000 centimeters squared. All right, next we have 6 decimeters squared, changing it to centimeters squared. So here's decimeters. We're moving it to centimeters. It's 1 place, but because it's area, we're going to double that. We're going to move it, instead of 1 place, we're going to move it 2 places. So 6 decimal places here, 2 to the right, which gives me 600 centimeters squared. All right, so next we're looking at volume. Volume is a 3-dimensional measurement. It's the measure of the amount of space an object occupies. All right, so our units are cubed. So in this figure, we have 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters times 2 centimeters, which gives us 18 centimeters cubed. So when we are converting the volume measurements, we're going to triple the decimal places. Okay, so multiplied by 3. So if we're going from meters, first example is meters to kilometers. So here's our meters and kilometers. It's 1, 2, 3, 3 decimal places. All right, but we got to triple that. So it's actually going to be 9 decimal places. All right, so here's the 200. Current decimal place is right there. We have to move it 9 to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. New decimal point is right there. And we fill this in with zeros. And I just put a 0 in front of the decimal place as well. Okay, so that's what it looks like in kilometers cubed. We have 200 meters cubed. This time we're going to hectometers cubed. So again, there's my 200. The decimal point is currently here. So from meters to hectometers, 1, 2 to the left, but we got to triple that. So we're actually moving 6 to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the new decimal place. There's the 0 in front. And we just fill these in with zeros. All right, so here we have 42 meters cubed to decameters cubed. So meters to decameters, it's just 1 to the left, right? 1 to the left, but because it's volume, we have to do that 3 times. Okay, so we have to actually move it 3 to the left. So here's 42. There's my current decimal point. So I have to move it 3 to the left. So 1, 2, 3. New decimal point is there. So my answer is 0.042. All right, 46 hectometers cubed is here, and we need to move it to kilometers. That's 1 to the left, but because it's volume, we have to do it 3 times. So it's actually going to be 3 to the left. So 46. There's my current decimal point. I'm going to move it 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. There's the new decimal point. So 46 hectometers cubed is equal to 0.046 kilometers cubed. All right, so for today's class, we are starting with these examples here. We're going to convert each to the indicated linear unit before adding or subtracting. So here we have 2 decimeters and we have 6 centimeters, and our answer has to be in millimeters. So that means we would change the 2 decimeters to millimeters. We're changing the 6 centimeters to millimeters. Then we can add. All right, so 200 millimeters is equal to 2 decimeters. Next, we have to change the 6 centimeters to millimeters. So centimeters to millimeters, we're moving 1 place to the right. So we have 6. We move 1 place to the right. That becomes 60 millimeters. Now we can go ahead and add 200 plus 60. Both are in millimeters. Our answer is therefore 260 millimeters. All right, for the next question, we have millimeters, we have centimeters, and our answer has to be in centimeters. So therefore, let's change the 90 millimeters to centimeters. So from millimeters, we want to go to centimeters. We're moving 1 place to the left. So our decimal place is currently here. We're going to move our decimal place right there. So it becomes 9.0. All right, so basically 9 centimeters. Okay, so now we have 9 centimeters plus the 12 centimeters. All right, and that gives me a total of 21 centimeters. So the answer is 21 centimeters. Okay, so for this question here, we have to change this 400 centimeters squared to meters squared. So we have 8 meters squared minus, we have to change the 400 centimeters squared to meters squared. So we're moving 2 to the left, but we have to double it because it is area. So if we write this out, it's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, which makes it 0.04 meters squared. All right, now you can go ahead and subtract. So 8 minus 0.04, that gives me 7.96 meters squared. Okay, so this one here, so centimeters squared. This is in decimeters squared, so let's change that. So 16.2 decimeters to centimeters. We're moving 1 to the right, but we're going to double that, so it's going to be 2 to the right. So 1, 2 to the right, so that becomes 1,620 centimeters squared minus 145 centimeters squared. And then our answer is 1,475 centimeters squared, okay, once you subtract. All right, so here we have millimeters cubed, centimeters cubed, and centimeters cubed. So we're going to change the millimeters cubed. We'll change it to centimeters cubed. So millimeters to centimeters, it's 1 to the left, but because we're looking at volume, we're going to have to triple that, so we'll move it 3 to the left. So 1, 2, 3, that gives me 4 centimeters cubed minus the 1 centimeters cubed, which gives me 3 centimeters cubed as the answer. All right, and then for the second question here, we have meters cubed, and we need to put our answer into decameters cubed. So we'll just go ahead and add these two because the units are already meters cubed and meters cubed. So 5 plus 4.2 that gives me 9.2, but that's in meters cubed. All right, so we need to change that to decameters cubed. So we're moving 1 to the left, but we gotta triple that. So we're moving it 3 to the left. So 1, 2, 3, put your decimal place there. Fill that in with zeros. Our answer is 0.0092 decameters cubed. So next we're just looking at volume, capacity, and mass. So volume and capacity are similar. The only difference here is we measure solids in cubic units. So here's volume. It's measured as cubic units, like centimeters cubed, decimeters cubed, so on. Volume is the amount of space that an object occupies. All right, so the most common units are meters cubed, centimeters cubed, decimeters cubed. And then liquids are measured using the units of capacity. So it's the measure of the amount that an object will hold. So we're looking at units of like milliliters, liters, kiloliters. All right, we do have some conversions given here at the bottom. 1,000 milliliters is equal to 1 liter. 1,000 liters is equal to 1 kiloliter. So an example is water changes state as it's frozen or heated. When it's in liquid form, we would measure it in units of capacity. But when it freezes and changes into a solid, then we would use the units of volume, which are the cubic units. All right, for mass, you're just using a balance to measure the amount of mass. It's the amount of matter that is contained in an object, and it remains constant. The units are usually grams, kilograms, milligrams, and the T here for tons. And then just a note here that at 4 degrees Celsius, 1 milliliter of water has a mass of 1 gram and it has a volume of 1 centimeters cubed. All right, so that there is just a point to note there. 1 milliliter is equal to 1 gram, which is equal to 1 centimeters cubed. All right, and that's at 4 degrees Celsius. All right, so let's just do some of these conversions. The first one is 5 meters cubed, and we're changing it to decimeters cubed. So that's similar to what we were already looking at when we were looking at those conversions of volume. All right, so we have meters cubed here. We want to change it to decimeters cubed. So meters to decimeters, that is 1 to the left, but we got to triple that. So it will be 3 to the left. So 5, and then 1, 2, 3. So it becomes 5,000 decimeters cubed. Next, we have 750 kiloliters, and we're going to change it to liters. So you can do this similarly here. We'll just change this to liters. All right, so you can use this method where you're going from kiloliters to liters. So you're moving 3 places to the right. So our answer is 750. 3 to the right, so fill in the 3 zeros. Our answer is 750,000 liters. The other method you could have used here is we could use our conversions here that were given. 1,000 liters is equal to 1 kiloliter. So you can set it up like a ratio like we were doing previously. So we can set that up like 1,000 liters is equal to 1 kiloliter. And then we have 750 kiloliters. And how many liters would that be? All right, so again, cross multiplication. 1,000 times 750 divided by 1. The answer is the same. It's 750,000 liters. Okay, I'll let you guys try the next 3 there. All right, so our next question, we have decimeters. We're changing it to centimeters cubed. So here's decimeters, here's centimeters. It's just one place over, but because it's cubed, we're going to have to triple that. So it'll be 3 places over. So there was our decimal place, 1, 2, 3. Our answer is 4,400 centimeters cubed. Next, we have 0.3 tons, and we need to change it to kilograms. So I've already set up the ratio here. And so you're just going to multiply 1,000 times 0.3 divided by 1, and that gives us 300 kilograms. So there's our answer for that. And then lastly, we're going from liters to milliliters. So here is liters, and here's milliliters. So it's 1, 2, 3 to the right. So 0.2, and then 3 to the right. So 1, 2, 3. Fill that in. So we get 200 milliliters. All right, so that is where we will stop for today.